developments. I've been doing surveys since 1991 on residential developments, and nothing has changed since then. Oh, by the way, the car undercover is a Ferrari, which was left like that all day, virtually every day, presumably only driven at the weekends in a new development. Over half the sites had a negative rating from residents for parking. Nearly 2/3 were considered to have parking problems. We even had reports of fights in the street and neighbours going through their solicitors to complain about somebody's parking in the street. What's happening where you are? That's one of the questions that comes out today. Because if you haven't got a problem, then this is almost pointless. But I suspect you're here because you have. This quote from somebody who lived in this development, we actually had a demonstration project. So the one on the left, which was based upon a new design guide in 2000, sort of PPG type 3 type thing. And across the road was one designed under an old design guide. And the demonstration project proved that the new one was less popular than the old one. And somebody wrote in with all the effort that went in with the new development, saying that they didn't believe any skilled professionals were involved in the planning and design of this estate. I'm actually having a battle with the developer who did that development at the moment over parking, and I must remember to show him that quote every time we meet. Does PPS3 hold the answer? Well, I always thought it did. Unfortunately, there are certain people in high places who've inserted a word there, but we'll come to that soon, which you presumably have to put over warm air, and it will materialise, because certainly when PPS3 was coming out, and we knew in the lead up to it, and I was involved with probably one or two of you in the workshops prior to it, that in fact this was exactly what we wanted, and this was what we wanted to then get going on and actually do what it said. Work out these things in our local areas, to work out expected levels of car ownership, to look at good design, and to continue with the efficient use of land. Do that all with those people. And you notice communities there, that's real people out there who have an interest, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to put up with what we do. Read and inwardly digest this, because I asked CLG and DFT if there was a government policy to reduce car ownership. And they were very upset about this question because they thought I really meant it and that I wanted a policy. But it was deliberate to actually get to the bottom of what we are doing with residential parking. Because there, in black and white, or in white and red, is their response. There is no policy. Cars are a desirable part of people's everyday lives. That is from CLG and DFT, and I keep that letter under my pillow. On the right, from a senior figure in CIHT, when he saw this presentation, or a similar one, he sent me these graphs, and what they appear to show is that car ownership is increasing at a greater rate than the highest expected or predicted rate, whereas car use is growing at less than the lowest predicted growth rate. Simple point there. More cars doing less. Where will they be? And Stephen's already mentioned origin and destination parking. They will be going to the destination, certainly during the working week, less. So where will they be? They will be at the origin. More cars. You can tell what the problems will be if we don't address this problem. It's the James May effect. My son is a disciple of Jeremy Clarkson, and he told me that James May on Top Gear once said, "I look forward to the time when I only need my car for fun, so that I can do all the necessary journeys by public transport." And maybe we are moving to that point where people own a car or two cars, but actually use them less. Just use them for those leisure journeys. Or rail heading, which we were discussing earlier, which is what I do. Easiest available railway station, I have to drive to it, the buses don't run at the right time, but once I'm there, I'm on the train and I do everything by train from there onwards. The South East Plan has this wonderful thing about all standards other than residential are to be maximum. And then it says apply guidance set out in that should be PPS, I should add, on residential parking. So I noticed Stephen had one.
Yes, I noticed.
There's a
wasn't there when it prepared.
There's a gremlin in there. So I beg the question, what's wrong with minimum standards for residential? And we'll obviously, the ones in boxes, by the way, are for us to pick up later. That's a German stacking system, by the way. Those who can remember Thunderbirds will remember the one that caught fire like that and had to be rescued. So, key issues. Will garages be used? Our answer is no. 50% or less are used. So we count them out of the equation. A lot of it's about convenience. You can have the right amount and it's in the wrong place and it isn't used. Where do visitors park? We've never really done a lot about that. We thought they'd park on people's driveways, but a lot of them don't like it. Vans are a major problem and covenants are not worth the paper they're written on. The amount, how can we determine those? Our developers are telling us that non-allocation of parking is singularly unliked by their customers. And as they have to sell houses, what right do we have to tinker with people's lives if the customers are saying we want allocated parking? Because we then have to work on how to balance the spaces that we have available to get the right balance of open space, garden, so on and so forth. But non-allocation is not a popular concept among customers. The political dimension, Keith and I both have contact with Bob Neal, the Conservative spokesman for planning, and he said, and politicians do say such things, that said that if the Conservatives get in, they will look at this issue from the point of view of getting a real dose of reality into it instead of dogma. And then the issue, do we unleash open Pandora's box if we go for minimum? No, we don't, because we have people with one space and 3 cars. We have people with 3 spaces and 1 car.